Hi Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'm Susan, your intuitive, and this is your tarot and astrology reading for the month of July. Also, Cancer season into your season. Happy birthday to the early July Leos out there. We're going to get into your reading, and then all the extended information will be below, but we'll get there. So Mars has finally left your sign, and I'm sure there's a bit of a relief, but there's also some integration wherever conditioning really struck you, especially for Leo rising suns, in the areas of growth, in the areas of your identity. You've perhaps been revealed to what you were protecting, what you wanted to accomplish perhaps, and you've realized that maybe if you let go, maybe if you step away, that it won't fall apart. That could mean energetically, that could mean emotionally, that could mean physically, and that could mean mentally. Over the course of the study of myself and my body and control, we all have it in our ways. And Leo, it's understandable how when you've experienced quite an overhaul with spirituality and love, and then communication, and then wherever Leo happens to actually be in your chart. For Leo risings at your first house, doesn't matter the Leo, you're learning more about your energy every day. And you could perhaps be realizing at this time that the cards really want to be specific with you, but also that whatever's going on with you in your present life, in your present moment, right? This is aside from work, but it will show up at work. This is aside from what you do day to day, but it will show up there. That whatever is mentally, emotionally, physically, the ailments or the thoughts or the things that have been consistently resurfacing for you, is in order for you to confront it, to expose yourself to it. Because when you deal with that, right, it's like this heat. If you're in the Northeast, I don't know where else in the world is going through this, but we're having quite the heat wave at the moment, which is why I hope you can hear this pretty well. I do have my air going. If not, I'll take a look and do what I gotta do. But you may have noticed that when it's so hot out, like, it's hard to be upset. It's hard to be this, it's hard to be that. It's kind of just this surrender. It's almost like being snowed in, like you have nowhere else to go, right? There is a certain lack of control. It's like commitment. You commit to someone, if like you're someone who can truly commit, and when you commit, you're in it. Like both feet in is what I'm saying. All limbs in. And it almost opens up expansion in other areas of life because that's not on your mind. So if there's been something that's on your mind yet you can't control it, or you can address it with either yourself or the person, or you have control over maybe healing your body, or you have like the support or the resources to be able to provide yourself a session that you need, or whatever it is, right? There's so many different things, but let's focus on your energy. You notice where your energy is being depleted. You're noticing who that's around. You're noticing where that is. You're so aware of it. And it's because you've gone through so many layers, because you have so much energy to give. And that's why people like to be around you, right? The biggest thing for you, we have the Four of Wands. We have a lot of wands. So lots of fire coming to the surface. This is a really positive time of support from the people around you. And the love, and feeling like, just because if you're a Leo, and most Leos are very attuned to the people in their environment, the people they surround themselves with, the people that come to them, no matter how close or far away, there is this sense of security that you find in being someone who is that fire, is and has that energy to be able to have people around. What this also shows you is this this is like this duality of like everything's stable, everything's great. Sure, there will be lots of movement, there'll be lots of opportunities, and opportunities to say yes, opportunities to say no. This is really about your opportunity to direct your energy wisely, from the 9 of Wands to the 4 to the 5. 4 plus 5 equals 9. We're in a 9 year. Things are dying. Depends on your personal number, depends on this time that we're in. But what this is revealing to you is that you don't need to either carry what is no longer yours, even if it was last week. The Leo you are today, the person that you are continuing to move forward, can decide if it's actually weighing you down or the support that's helping you move forward. Because there's a difference. Sometimes that whatever's weighing you down, or whomever, or wherever you're directing your energy, you don't notice until you're finally like, oh, that's not giving me back anything. And that's the selfishness that Aries is really signaling in us. And we all, and you have this, but what you've gone through the past few years has very much shifted what it looks like to show up for people, show up for yourself. And it hasn't changed your value. It's just you're realizing like what that ebb and flow and that grievance feels like, even on the most surface of layers, and realizing that like it's a part of your heart's expansion and your ability to support yourself and ask for the support that you need, and also commit to the expansion, to the growth, which also means like wherever you may need to say no because you're actually weakening the quality of what you're giving and what you're able to give, which also in turn could take away from an area of your life that really can use that energy. You know, I always like to use love and money. So like maybe you give your all at work, and at home there seems to be problems about balancing responsibilities. It's possible that, you know, and then you're not getting the appreciation you deserve, or the support, or the raise, or the promotion, or the change, or whatever it is. It's because it's possible that whichever area, like, or if you just find yourself like being able to like really go through problems quite easily, you're very like flexible or compliant or just understanding and compassionate, and it's easily to get through some stuff. And at work it's hard to ask for what you want or the support that you need. So wherever that's balancing out, it's like wherever you're overcorrecting, give it to the other area. You know, maybe take a step back from work, and maybe you're just in a season where you can't be asked more of. You're doing enough. And in this, so that you can balance out this area in your life, because whatever that is, it's operating from fear. Because if you don't feel like you can let go and you can bring your attention here, there's a fear maybe of intimacy or whatever it is that comes up for you. We're gonna keep shuffling the cards here, but that relates to the home, that relates to your own outside even perspective of what it looks like to have a secure sense of self and family, and how you communicate and how you operate. And it's probably shining light in an area where you're shifting. Like, you know, the shadow is always moving when the sun is moving, right? The shadow doesn't stay the same throughout the day. And that could be, if you saw it that way, such a beautiful, it's kind of like in a way Gemini, where like the sky is changing every day, and they're like the sky where like the sun and the shadow isn't cast. I mean, we know we're gonna get there at some point during the day, but it's you have relief, you have time away from it, you know. It's always making its way. We have another Wands card out. Okay, so then we have the 8 of Wands in reverse. This says to us that whatever's being taken from your life right now, wherever pause, like maybe things have been going, and now there's this like complete stop, or you're choosing a complete stop, and you're giving yourself time to integrate, assess, or digest. Mars for Leo rising is in your 2nd house, and reassess like how you want to use your time, how you'd like to use your skills, where you'd like to direct this energy that you're also not only letting go of, you're receiving. And just notice, how does that relate to what you've been afraid to look away from? Like afraid as if like something will happen, but the truth is that energy is being used up where you need to bring it somewhere else. So this like greater awareness with how your energy is directed. Oh man. Oh man. We have a lot of cards, Leo. Okay. Lots of cards. Alright, we'll see how far we get. We have, these cards fell out, but I haven't really like taken a look at them. We have it's the Chariot at the bottom. I might save those for the second part, but we're gonna just keep chatting here. So what this is doing is bringing you to a place with this deep trust in your intuition, and that's where we're really coming to here. We're in an evolution, and you know this, you're the sun, right? So you're aware of the things in life. We're coming to this evolution of time where no one really knows what's happening next. We're experiencing something that has probably occurred before, knowing that like the cycles and the spirals of the earth, but it's like, where are you choosing to bring your consciousness? And that's what the deeper or more spiritual aspect is of what you're going through, is directing your energy. Is also like, because sometimes our energy is being directed and it's just so crazy, like the beautiful layers of, we don't understand why, but once we do it, we realize we haven't been paying attention or making decisions coming from ourselves. We've just been under the guise or the control of like, this is what I wanted my persona to be, or this is like how I feel comfortable appearing to others. Even if you're someone who feels like you don't give a shit, there are so many layers to, you know, security with self, the identity, being who you are, and you're so much associated with that. But that comes with overcoming insecurity and integrating shadow and being comfortable with yourself. And this is bringing you to a time in your life where you're so much more aware of where your intuition is directing you. It's this understanding and maybe even outside perspective that when whatever is being removed from your life, while at the same time, if you're letting go or surrendering, we know that that looks very different for everyone. No matter how much you're passively or actively participating in the letting go of your life, you're unbinding yourself from something that is deeply healing within the masculinity that you could probably trace back to the masculine energies in your ancestry, or even in like your history. You're getting this view. You're getting this psychic view and the psychic healing view of your confidence. Of like, oh, this is where this was built from, but this is where it actually needs to go to be fully prepared and just confident in aspects of my life, even when I don't know, even when I feel insecure, even when I feel this way, I just feel confident. I just feel capable, because you've with what you're doing here, you're moving beyond that ego of your intuition, right? It's more of just like this, and maybe you felt the curiosity of it, but then, you know, the ego comes in and it's understandable. And what Gemini perhaps season exposed to you was, this is where you get yourself caught in your intuition. This is where the fear is in the psyche and where it's been running your life and overcompensating. So now we're going to take whatever we need to, because there's somehow a desire, whether you're aware of it or not, there's a desire within you, which is also in life around us, that wants to be exposed to a different way of communicating with yourself and with life. And that's what first we had Venus with you hanging out a few years ago, where we really dove deep into the Venus and Leo aspects, and then now Mars. So the past few years has been like this really deep understanding of your day-to-day, because Mars and Venus are very day-to-day planets. Like there's something that moves more frequently, but not frequently enough like Mercury, and not far enough like a year like Jupiter. But when we get into the mix of a Mars retrograde, we know we're going to get 2 signs or in more of this area of our life and having to address it. So whether you've been completely aware of that or not for almost a year now, you've been addressing the ways in which you communicate with life and with yourself, and how and where that starts with the emotional imprint of your psyche. And that's what makes you guys so, like, it's like the power of your heart and where love is coming from. It's like why it's so beautiful that when you get upset or whatever you're going through, that when you go through an ego death or an ego transformation, you just get shinier and shinier, and you're able to just accept like a leader. So there's a part of you that maybe feels like you want to lead something, or you are a leader and you're more stepping into that version of yourself, but it almost feels like a revealing. It's like this, as you're revealing, it's like whatever else is coming off of you as well. And the way that I would like to describe it, I didn't know if I was going to talk to you about this yet because I hadn't even gotten to my notes, to be honest with you. We talked about some of it, and we'll talk about more of it in the second part, which will be in all the links below. Patreon link for the second part where we get deeper into all of this. You know, your lungs came up, the Mercury, the nervous system, Gemini, so we'll get into that. We also have the other cards that fell out to get into, which is the Cancer card, so very exciting. Information to work with me one-on-one is also below. Scheduling link, payment options, you can find everything in the description box. So this leading, that the more that you lead with your heart, the more that the leader in you, whether it's at home or in the world or both, and at your job, wherever it is, that true leader in you, and that the healing of the masculine, the healing of the security within yourself and your intuition allows you to shine brighter, because you realize whatever wasn't yours to carry, meaning whatever traditions you want to keep going or whatever ones you want to start on your own, you're able to allow yourself this flexibility now, where you look at something, you're like, you know, it won't look this way, and it may not look like it did before, and I did love it, but how can I love the next version of it? And it's something you're so good at, but with you, when you had so much other change going on, this wasn't really a priority, because there's so much external change in the home, the family dynamics, your own subconscious, how you're relating to life, and so much interaction with that you know, you may have been noticing where, and one of the layers could be people pleasing. Where have you maybe overextended or gave yourself, and now you get to claim that power back to you, while also slowing down and realizing where you've kept yourself captive in your mind somewhere, and where and who it started with. You know, who is that masculine person, or that person doesn't just have to be a father figure, but I would very much go to that place, of course, when you can, and when it's accessible to you, and what you can really take from it, and how much you've triumphed. Like what you've carried that's not yours, and knowing that that only will reveal who you really are. And that's that, like, when you're coming out, like, that's that you, like, really showing yourself, but it's not like, it's like that picture of the woman, like, who all of a sudden just looks beautiful and graceful, but like no one's, you know, changing her clothes, or it's just magic that's happening, right? There's magic that's happening, and all of a sudden they're like, you know, like bippity boppity boo. However, we know it's not that. It's you believing even more. It's you leading with your heart, and it's you trusting that. It's you trusting your instincts, your intuition, and because you've seen the shadow, you've really seen it, and you've really learned to communicate with it in a way that is enhancing your experience moving forward. So yeah, didn't plan to be here this long, Leo. However, we're here. Have a drink if you need. What this can also be doing for those of you who are in a relationship or wanting to balance a side of you, it's going to allow whoever needs to show up more without you having to actually address it, because it's possible that you've already addressed it, whether it's with the person, with yourself, or both, or fought about it, whatever it is. Now because you're learning to let go and you're going through this process, you're going to notice a deeper and greater love because you chose this person, right? Whoever it is in your life, whether you're fully committed or not, you're choosing to give your energy to them. So are they worth it or not? And it's fair. It's fair to ask that question. And you already know that, but you're discovering where you are willing to abandon that, or where you are willing to go along with the fear of oh, maybe I won't meet someone as cool or this and that. And not that they need to check all the lists. It's just what's keeping you from committing, or what's making you commit too quick, right? If you're in that experience. And if you're in a relationship and you don't realize you're not fully committed, things will constantly show up to make you have to learn to commit more. And the more you surrender, the more your partner perhaps has the room to show up, because remember, that control can be so loud, especially if you're living in an experience or you're with someone a lot. Your energies are flowing together now, right? And even before that, they were coming together at some point. So this energetic field that you're existing in is always bouncing off one another. And I know we got into a lot here, but I think this was a really cute access point to what I'd like to get further into with you in the next part, because I think there's a lot more to expand upon. It's this deeper trust with your actions, because even if you failed or screwed up, or you thought you had some things going, but really it's just you're afraid to let go of those ideas to allow a new idea to form, or a new way of doing something. And the moment you do that, because I think Uranus is preparing you for this, especially Leo risings, Uranus will be in your 11th house, and that's to do with money, but it's also community and good fortune. So getting you prepared for a great idea perhaps, or a great collaboration, whatever that could be. And a lot of good fortune to come from that, especially what it looks like as a purpose, more purpose. And I think as much as it could feel like a cliche, or it's not, people are looking for their purpose more and more, but I think that you coming into it in this way that almost feels so natural is so you, Leo. And how beautiful, right? How beautiful. Okay. It was so lovely talking to you. I can't wait to continue. All information again is below, and we'll see you there. Happy birthday to the Leos. We'll see you next time.